Good afternoon. Welcome to the Johnson Rosa Homestead. This is a brief update concerning our grow out pens for our rabbits. Someone on Facebook had asked about it, so I wanted to give a brief overview of how we're doing that. First, we'll start with the caging, and this is a repurposed hanging rabbit cage. It's one of those DIYs you can make yourself. It's a 4-compartment. About 9 feet long. I think it's 2 foot wide and about 19 inches high or something around that. I've had this for a few years, and when we were raising rabbits a few years back, and we moved to this location, and I kept this. It went through a tornado, got bent up a little bit, or bent everything out as best I can. We had our adults in it when we first got them back in, I think it was March. And we kept them in that for a while, and then I got them some bigger cages for the nest boxes, so that the mothers would have more room. So I was going to sell this unit, and then the 2 mothers that had babies, one had 8, one had 7, and then of course the rabbits are growing, and you need to wean them off of their moms, which means you need to relocate them. And this is what I had at the time, so I was like, well, I'll just repurpose it. So what I did was I put it on some 2x2 skids, and we pull it around twice a day. I pull it around in the mornings and then in the afternoon, and basically just use this cable. It's hooked to it, easy to move. Other than that, everything's a typical rabbit cage. You got the feeders attached to the side, the water bottles the same. Their feeders I keep filled up so that they have access to food 24 hours a day. The only thing I don't like about this is the 1x1/2 bottom wire does not allow the grass to really stick through, especially if it's longer than this. I just mowed and moved the rabbits over here, so this can stick through a little bit. But mostly what this wire does is it pushes the grass down, and it doesn't let it pop back through for the rabbits to nibble on. So what I'm doing is I go out into my field, which has taller grass, and I'm pulling it at least twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And if I'm at home during the day, I'll pull it more than that. And I'll give each of the compartments a big old handful of grass for them to chew on. So these are 2 females, and that's what they have left over from this morning. It's just a little bit of grass. So they're not really pastured because of the way that the wire is, but once I build another one, it's going to have slats, so they have a wire sides and a wire top, but the bottom will be wood slats, either 2x2s or 1x2s, depending on what I can find at the hardware store. This is pressure treated because the rabbits can't get to it, but the next one, it won't be pressure treated because they'll be able to chew on the wood, and we don't want them chewing on pressure treated wood. So that's going to be, this is version 1, and version 2 will have the slats. So the slats will be, spaced out like this, maybe an inch in between them or a ½ an inch in between them, and then there'll be another slat. And as you're moving the tractor and you're pulling it this way, everything else is going to be a long way, so the grass in between it will be able to stick through, and that will be the grass that the rabbits are able to eat. So that's going to be version 2, and it's going to be following what the Salatons do at Polyface Farm. They pasture raise their rabbits, and I think that's a great idea. Or they pasture raise their grow outs. They don't do their breeders like that, they do their grow outs. My breeders are under a shed, so I don't pasture those, but I am trying to do these grow outs. This is our first batch that we have. We're going to butcher them in 2 weeks. And it's the same as chicken, it's got to be something to it, or otherwise people aren't going to take the time to do it. If anything, it's offering them the greens that they in nature would be eating anyway, instead of just having pellets all the time. So this is fresh grass for them. So again, right now what I'm doing is I'm pulling grass for them, and I'm leaving it in long. It's probably at least 8 inches long, so it's plenty for them to eat. Like I said, I'm giving them a big handful twice a day. I give them hay about every other day, just something to do, and also break branches off of my pecan trees that I have, and I'll give them those a couple of times a week. Just something to chew on, keep them active, keep them from getting bored, and also it allows them to trim their teeth so that they don't have any eating issues or anything. Like I said, these will be butchered in about 2 weeks. This is our first batch. We're still learning. This is a working homestead that makes mistakes, and we live and we learn, all while trying to be a good steward of God's creation. So again, just a quick introduction to this. We haven't had any issues with them chewing on the wire or anything like that. I think if you give them enough to keep them occupied, fresh grass, hay a couple of times a week, some branches to chew on and so forth, it's going to keep them occupied and keep them satisfied so that they're not trying to chew on the wire or anything like that. And like I said, we've had no issues with them. Even the adults in the shed, we had no issues with them chewing on the wire or anything. Again, it's keeping them occupied, keeping them so that they're not getting bored, and allowing them to do some of the things that a wild rabbit would do, even though they're domesticated. So this is John Sorosa Homestead. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel if you'd like to. You can also follow us on Facebook. We continue to post things on there, information about our homestead, what we're doing, and also just things concerning life and everything else. So until next time, y'all have a blessed day, and we will continue to update y'all. Take care.